Hey, hello, it's Adewale here again, and welcome to this video tutorial on how to create frameworks for writing blog posts. So I had one of the fans in the community ask this question. I'm new to the app and seek your advice. I want to use CC to generate three things. The first one is a 2,000 word blog, 2,000 word blog posts pertaining to a niche without having to constantly click expand. Because every time I click expand, it's a bit of a hit and miss for the content that's churned out. So I wonder if the entire article can be written in one go. So that's the first question. And it's got two questions here, but the first question is what we're going to be looking at today. But first thing I would actually say, James, is that because of the way Closer'sCopy has been created, at the moment you cannot create an entire 2,000 word article in just one go. And in fact, I will actually advise very heavily against that. We have to be mindful of this issue that's been a pattern over the years. Whenever loads of people adopt a system and that system has some flaws in it, the flaws of the system starts to become very, very easy to pinpoint. And this is where Google will start to kind of reprimand people on the site. I've been a victim of that in the past, where for almost 10 years, Google just completely ignored my website because I was using systems everybody was using innocently. So we don't want to get to the point where your articles start looking like it's been written by AI. You still need to put a human element into it. And that's why I would really frown against anything that just does it at one click. So today we're going to be writing a number of frameworks to help to create a 2,000 word blog post. Once you have the frameworks done, it could take as little as 3 minutes, 6 minutes, or might take as long as 1 hour to 4 hours, just because you want to infuse it with a lot more personality from yourself and make sure it's a very shiny article. So, James, you've given me this website as a website you'd like to model. So what we'll be doing will just be going through the process of how I would think about the frameworks in the first place to make sure that it can give me exactly what I want. So we'll go to the website and we will break the website down in sections to just show you how I would go about creating this. So looking at the website article link you gave me, the first thing we've got here, we've got a headline. So let's write that down. So we've got a headline. So we need a framework to create a headline. We've got an introduction section here. So we'll need something to create this sort of introduction section. We've then got the body area, and the way this article has been done, the article is sort of answering a question of how to ask for a raise and just taking you through each point. So what we could do is each of these areas becomes, all of them actually, we can put all of them into a framework. The idea of how your AI will be creating the body content that you want. And then we've got a conclusion. The way this article is written, it hasn't got a conclusion that shows that, oh, this is a conclusion. All it's just done is finished off with another answer to another question. And we could do it exactly like this. I would like to actually have a different form of conclusion, a conclusion that will inspire people into action. Because I noticed over the years that the kind of conclusion you have can determine if people will be interested in reading more or even be interested in giving you a like. And the like is what is going to help to attract more traffic to your article. Okay, so we've got the heading, we've got the introduction, we've got the body content, and then we've got the conclusion. Now, depending on the niche, the audience may be people who need a lot of encouragement in the introduction to push them through reading more. But some niches, they don't want to see too much introduction. They just want you to get straight into the content. So you've got to kind of think about the niche you're writing for. And the way you just do that is look at all the different articles that are written in your niche that have a lot of likes, a lot of engagement. That will suggest to you what format to follow. So we've got the sections we need, headline. So we need to write frameworks for each of these sections. So what we want to do now is to create the headline frameworks. We just use headline examples from the website. But so that's the one headline from that particular page. In order for the AI to know that this is what I want it to do is to give me headlines, I have to create a system repeatable system that I can use to tell it that this is what I want it to give me. So I will write topic and then headline. So what the AI will then do is whenever it sees the topic, it knows, okay, I'm wanting a headline that is related to this topic. So how to ask for a raise is the headline here. So we could say the topic is income. And this is something that is important to kind of highlight as well. Although I'm giving the AI a kind of topic here, it's important that the topic will be relatable to the AI. In other words, if I write a topic that a normal human being, just a person, will not be able to understand and see the relevancy and see how that topic is related to the headline, you can guarantee that the AI will not be able to understand that as well. So it needs to be understandable to other human beings. And that's how you can actually get instructions that the AI would understand. So topic is salary problems. And from this, I'm looking at salary problems, how to ask for a raise like a professional is a salary issue that people would not normally have, and most people will be able to see the relevancy and how it's related. Okay, so topic, and then that's the headline. So got one headline. I would like to kind of have at least 3. I mean, if you can have more than 3, all the better. So, but at least 3 examples. And the reason we give the AI 3 examples is because the AI, it works from repetition. That's how it notices patterns, and that's what it uses the patterns to give you what you want. So when it sees this pattern, oh, this is the kind of thing you're looking for, and then it gives you that outcome. So we're creating a pattern by giving it 3 examples. So the first example is salary problem. There's a topic headline, how to ask for a raise. Now, how do we find other examples? The best way to do that, especially if you're trying to mimic that particular website, the best way would be to go to that website and find other articles on that website. So I'll just go to their blog area and just pick a few more articles, pick 2 more articles, and just use the headline. So have you ever considered contract work? Some of what contract employees values most. Because the first thing I'm seeing from the headlines is that the headlines this particular headline is not very clear. Usually when you want to write a headline that when the person reads it, they can read it through, and it flows. It almost rhymes through. And it doesn't make the customer want to stop and see, okay, what does that mean? Which is what happened to me as I read that headline. If your headlines are doing that, most likely you would have lost your customer. They just read that and say, oh, that doesn't relate to me, and they're gone. And again, as I said, if people struggle with it, you can guarantee that the AI is going to struggle with it as well. So I want to take that headline and perhaps change it into something, adjust it into something that feels a bit more easy to follow, that flows better. Ever consider contract work? Here are 3 things contract employees value most. That reads a lot better, and that makes sense. It's easy to kind of follow, and that might actually make the AI find that easy to follow. Now, another point why this is important: the format, the way you format your headlines, would also determine the kind of outcome the AI gives you. So if your headlines are not formatted properly, you can be guaranteed that the outcome headlines it gives you are not formatted properly. So you see what we've done? we've created a structure here, which would most likely be easy for the AI to understand. So the AI reads these 3 examples and says, oh, that's what you want. You want me to give you another headline using this kind of topic idea. And to finish the instruction, we then copy topic. We just create another placeholder here. If you want your frameworks to be applicable to a number of different niches, it will be important that in your examples, you include at least 3 to 5 different niches, type of headlines in your examples. Because then if you don't do that, the AI would think you only want answers and responses from a specific niche alone. And so if you did all these examples on just weight loss, the AI will always be trying to pull you towards weight loss in the answers it gives you. And sometimes that can just make it hard to get the exact thing you want. So let's say, you want it to be more generic, the particular framework. So you include a weight loss example, you include, an employee relation example, you include, maybe, a cookery example. And then that framework will be able to give you headlines that are well suited to other frameworks, other niches. Sorry. Okay, so we've got this example now. Now we go and create the framework. Because I'm creating this framework for James. Yes, James. I'm going to name the framework James's frameworks. So let's create new. Copy that out. Copy that and place it here. This is now the example and the input. It's important to follow this process here. Otherwise, the AI will get confused. So what we've just done is that final placeholder we had, we've placed that in the example section, beside the syntax. It has to be copied exactly like that. And so this gives us the headlines. So I'll put some instruction here. Again, I put this description because sometimes when you get to the framework, you think, oh, what is this framework for again? The description just gives you a very good insight into the reason you created that framework in the first place. So, put in a topic to get a headline, and voila. So we've got your headlines framework, and all you just do, I could just test it to see what kinds of headlines it will give me. The best job search sites to find an entry-level job. Wow. The 3 top things to do before you apply for any job. What are your questions for an interview and how to ask them? Very good headlines that's relating to. And so we've, again, like we had before, we've got to have the instructions set up in a way that the AI will understand what we're looking for. So what I like to do is bring in the topic again here, because this would help you be able to make sure that you can combine the frameworks together, and if all the frameworks can achieve the one purpose of creating an article. So if we used the topic salary problem, the introduction it will give you will be any kind of introduction around salary problem. But we want the AI to give you an introduction that is specific to this salary problem that you are writing about. So in this case, the salary problem that I'm writing about is how to ask for a raise. So when I'm creating the introduction, it's actually important that I don't use the main topic, but use the headline as the first instruction. So place the introduction in headline there. That's the headline and introduction in there. And that makes our first example. So now we've got to follow the format. So we need headline and introduction section for for 2 other examples, and then we're sort of done with our introduction section. That's the introduction. I'll make this order number 2, just to let the system know that it should place this framework second in the group. Yep. So sorted. Right. So we've got the headline, we've got the introduction. We now need the body content format. We will need for the body, because each of these body content have like a subheading. So we will need a subheading, and we will need the headline for the topic. We'll need a relevant and related subheading, and we'll need the body content. So I'll just copy this. So this is the title of the subheading, and this is the body content. So we'll also then bring in the headline. So again, the reason why we're doing this is that we're trying to make sure that the headline relates to the subheading and the subheading relates to the body content in this example. And we do the same process for all 3. Right. Something else to note, the length of the characters given here for each output you get, it's important. So it's important to put it not too high, but high enough to get enough content out. So I would actually put in maybe 1000 characters for the body content. You see, I'm making this correction here, making sure everything is in order, because for some funny reason, the AI might actually copy some of those errors as well and just make maybe those typo errors. And you don't want that in your outcome. So we've got the body content gone. All we now need is a conclusion. On one hand, it feels more like a body content than a conclusion. Why am I fussing about the conclusion? The conclusion should have a feeling like, okay, this is ending, but this is also inspiring me to do more with what I've just been given. And I'm not getting that sense with, at least that one I read, but this one perhaps feels a little bit more like oh, this is what I've given you, now go and do more with it. So that will form our first example for the AI. I would have loved a better subheading, because the key takeaway is rather bland. Let's see what we can come up with that to create a better subheading. So the headline is the playbook for engaging remote teams. So what kind of heading could go for here? Because what this is talking about engaging remote teams. I'll tell you what, let's do a bit of a cheat. I'm going to go to one of my engaging conclusions and see whether I can get something out there. Inspiring conclusion. Let's put in so rather than the key takeaway, just finish with the key takeaway. What about if you use something like this? How to instantly boost your team's performance by 100%, even if you're located. That is a wonderful, that makes a person perhaps want to read your conclusion. It's as firing them to finish the article, firing them up to finish the article. So this one says, so instead of don't wait to make an offer, I can finish with a subhead like this: how to make job interviews a snap, even if you are running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Okie dokie. So we've now completed the frameworks. We've got one framework for the headlines, one framework for the introduction, one framework for the body content, and one framework for the rousing conclusion. So this is the time to see whether all our efforts have produced a good outcome. So let's see if we can create an article based on job search. Let's pull out a headline. I like this headline. How to get a new job without going crazy. So that's the headline we'll go with. And I guess this is one of the reasons I like Closer'sCopy's AI. This creativity level allows the AI to not be so rigid. All I'm just doing here is making sure the article order sort of feels right. Okay. And that's how you do it. That's how you get your 2000 word article created very easily from a framework. So just in one sitting, we've been able to create the framework. We've been able to bang out the article so fast. And the article is actually quite a professional article. If you read through the article, you'll notice I haven't really done any kind of editing at all. So this is the raw output from the frameworks. The only thing I have done is to sort of order each of the subheadings for the body content. I've ordered them in the order to sort of make sense. And I'm removing the placeholders like this, the body content. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this article as it is. I'm going to leave it in the community on Facebook, in the Closer'sCopy community, for anybody to just read so that they can see the kind of outcome you can bring out from a framework you can create so easily in just one sitting. Being able to write a 2,500 word article just like that. Just like that. In the past, this would be something that would not be possible. Okay. So thank you so much for being good listeners. As you watch this, please get the word out there. Subscribe to my channel, like, and press the notification bell so that you can get more articles like this from me. Also help me to be able to kind of have the time to create more articles, more videos, more tutorials like this for you.